Hi guys, and welcome to my new video tour of my movie collection. So basically I wanted to start down here in the hallway. When we first bought this house around 4 years ago now, there was this door in the basement, this very old-fashioned looking cabin in the wood style door that literally cost the previous owners $5, like $5. So the plan is to replace this door eventually, but for now, I just love the fact that through a $5 door is my movie collection. Okay, so basically this is the first video I've done of this movie collection in this room. If I do start to waffle on, please feel free to mute me. Basically the plan is just to take you around, walk up and down the aisles, point out some of my favourite editions. Maybe you'll spot something that you didn't quite know about, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So I'm 36 years old. I have been collecting now for around 25 years, and it all started with this one down here, Home Alone on VHS. This was the first movie I ever bought with my own pocket money. Still watch it religiously every Christmas with Lost in New York as well. One of my favourite movies of all time, and if it wasn't for Home Alone, then I probably wouldn't have all of this. So very grateful to that movie. So basically, there's no real structure or system in place of the movies themselves. I don't keep them in alphabetical order or genre. I do sort of have some system in place where I've got my VHS still along the bottom of the aisles, and then as we move further up I keep my DVDs, and then further up we go as well. We start to get to the Blu-rays, and then along the top I've started to keep the new 4K editions as well. So there's also quite a few other formats that I've collected over the years that they no longer manufacture, such as got the HD DVDs down on this section here, and then next to them I've got just a handful of UMD discs for the old Sony PSP. And then if we just go further down here towards the back is where I keep all of my laser discs that I've collected. So yeah, spinning around here, and if we just go back to the start, basically one of my favourite aspects of the room is, as you come in here, is this part here, this premium wall display that I've created. So all of these here are some of my favourite premium Steelbook editions from different companies from around the world. So basically we have got Coco from a company called Blue Fans. We've got the Ex Machina editions there from a company called Manta Lab. HD Zeta's release of Edge of Tomorrow, Film Arena from the Czech Republic there, Wind River, and we've got a British company, Everything Blue there for Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and we've even got one from Plain Archive there for Terminator Genesis. So these premium editions, inside them there is a steelbook. More often than not it's a unique steelbook created by the company themselves. It's one of their exclusive sort of worldwide art steelbooks. You have the choice of buying them in what's called a one-click box set, so you do get all 3 editions of the same movie, or some collectors just like to choose one and whichever artwork they sort of prefer of that edition. So most times it's either a single lenticular, a double lenticular on the front and the back, or just a full slip, which often has either hollow foil or embossing. But yeah, the artwork on them is absolutely beautiful, so it's nice to show them off. And below them we've got the big sleeve editions. So these are a full set. Originally were available from Zavvi, but then they became exclusives to Tesco's in the UK. Unfortunately, no longer manufacture them, and they pretty much ended just before Infinity War came out. So that was a bit of a shame. But the artwork on them is fantastic. They do sort of remind me a lot of Laserdiscs, even though they're Blu-ray. Some of them are 4K, 3D editions as well. So I've got them on display. And then down the first aisle here, we've got, along the top, I keep a lot of sort of big limited editions, collector's editions that are a little bit too big to sort of fit just in these standard shelf areas. Along here we've got Jaws edition from Germany. It's a really nice piece, comes with a big hardback book inside, so that's really nice there. Got a newer edition, Creed 2 on 4K Steelbook. And lots of DVDs as we scroll down. This blood box here is pretty cool. It's still got the original liquid in it from many years ago. It hasn't dried up yet, so that's pretty cool. Right down at the start, we've got 300. Borat came with a mankini. I can promise you that has never been worn more than once. Godfather editions. And then along the top here is a few more premium editions. Alien Covenant, which kind of spans through from aisle 2. And then at the end, Guillermo's Oscar winner, The Shape of Water. Some beautiful editions there for that one from Film Arena and Manta Lab. If we just squeeze down past this this beam here, this is the only aisle that does have these steel beams. So it is a little bit narrower to maneuver than the other aisles, but just kind of squeeze past and make it. So here on this right hand side is where I keep my Arrow video collection. So got quite a few titles. I am going for a full set. I'm going to try and collect them all. I've got loads to go, so it is a work in progress. But one of my favourite sort of special labels. I don't have many Criterion collection, Vinegar Syndrome, Synapse, Severin, so I don't have many of them, but Arrow is the one I'm really going for. So they are kept in this section here. And then next to them I've got this awesome Godzilla edition that came from Germany. A few steelbooks there. And then back down, if we spin around. So along this side we've got an awesome Deadwood edition that came with a poker set inside, so that sort of matches the show quite well. And then next to that also a casino edition of the James Bond collection, the attaché briefcase as well. And then here on this side we've got a few editions of Titanic there, a couple of early VHS editions that I've still got proudly on display, some of my earlier collector's editions. And then I'd like to point out this one here is a custom made sleeve from a friend in America called Larry. He makes his own custom sleeves, and when I saw this one that he produced of Hellraiser, I fell in love with it. So I have that one proudly on display, which leads around to this glass cabinet here of a Hellraiser Bus. This is one of the newest limited editions to enter the collection. It's from a French company called ESC Distribution, and there's only 150 of those in the entire world. So I was very lucky to get my hands on one of those. The discs themselves do sit in the base at the back, and the quality is just fantastic. The detail in Pinhead's face, the actual nails are real nails as well, so that sort of adds to the feel and the quality of it. And that edition that arrived, that was number 10 of 150, so I was very lucky there to get such a low number. So I'm very impressed with that one, and it gets displayed proudly in this glass cabinet. And just above it there I've got the complete Dexter collection, also the Blood Slide box edition just underneath, a couple of Buffy and Angel complete sets under the dome, and then more James Bond editions, Farscape. And then above there is, again, my laser discs. Again, Don't really have a working Laserdisc player anymore, which is a shame, but I do still like to collect them for the artwork. I think they're just absolutely fantastic. So I've got all of my favourite editions sort of at the front of the stack facing outwards, but there's also some cool editions sort of hiding behind as well. So yeah, keep them held up on these actual bike hooks that are designed for inside the garage to hold up sort of mountain bikes, BMX bikes. So it tends to do the job because they can be quite heavy when you've got a whole stack of them. So one of my earliest childhood favourites there, the Turtles, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, Ninja Turtles, Expendables, Silent Trigger. So this one is a Nameless Media Bust, a company from Germany. They make some of the best limited editions that you can get. So there's quite a few around the room. We'll see them as we're walking through. And South Park, Alias. Got some Monty Python editions down there. And then if we spin around, as we've just mentioned, Nameless, this edition here is probably the rarest item in my entire collection. The Tournament. This was Nameless Media's first ever Blu-ray bust. Limited to only 100 in the world, so very, very lucky to get my hands on one of those. Display it proudly on the top here. If we just turn it around slightly, we can see that the Steelbook is just in the base at the back. So not the best movie to receive such awesome treatment, but it is a very cool piece, and yeah, very lucky to get my hands on that one. So what we'll do is walk back down this first aisle, squeezing through, and then back to the center of the room. So this entire space that I've got the collection sort of stored. I'm very lucky to have such a huge area to keep it all in. I do speak to a lot of collectors online who do really struggle for space to keep the collection. It does limit them to what they can buy, what they can add to the collection. It also sort of dictates if they have to sell items. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have this sort of area under the house to keep it all in. There's 5 aisles in total, so the one we've just walked through there, and then we've got aisle 2, which is this one here, and then we've got aisle 3, and then just squeezing down this way, we've got aisle 4, and then right at the end with some limited edition box sets down that sort of side, we've got aisle 5. So as we get down to this aisle here, it can get quite dark. Even though I am filming in the daytime, I've got the light shining on the camera. Aisle 1 and this one, aisle 5, are the darkest aisles. Simply the sunlight and also the actual ceiling light that I've got in here do struggle to sort of reach that aisle. So the plan eventually will be to get strip lighting in the ceiling, spotlights all the way down each of the individual aisles, but for now, yeah, just make do with what there is. So if we walk back down aisle 2, and we'll start from the end. So at the end of each of the 5 aisles, I keep these glass cabinets. So there's 4 at the end of these rows, and also at the opposite end there's also another 4, so there's a bit of symmetry going on there. To keep some of my favourite editions in there, I'm a big fan of the Alien and the Predator franchise, so that's in this first glass cabinet. The Terminator franchise here, again, they sort of take pride of place there, and a few of the other sort of editions that I've been chasing for many years, I display them proudly, just to remind me how long they took to get. So if we go down this way, you've probably noticed I'm a bit of a sucker for collector's editions. Anything that sort of releases in a limited edition box or a gift set or a unusual packaging, then I am sold. And one of the earliest editions I remember getting was this Alien Trilogy VHS box, which I've still got on display here at the end. So that one there really started my love for collector's editions. When DVD sort of came out, then in Japan they released this this huge edition where the discs are all positioned in the head of the xenomorph. So that one of my favourite pieces there. And then there's been Predator and some more awesome Alien editions, and then another Predator Buster DVD bus there at the bottom. So along aisle 2 we've got the awesome Die Hard Nakatomi Plaza, released in the building. Could never have imagined a collector's edition like that coming out for Die Hard, but I'm glad it did. It looks absolutely amazing, and it is one of the best movies ever made. There it is in 4K. And along this side, up at the top, we've got the Sons of Anarchy complete collection TV series. A couple of editions there of the table in the clubhouse, so they're very cool. And we've also got Maggie Q, again another nameless media bust for Naked Weapon, so she's looking very nice there. And then next to there we've got Wind River and The Revenant. So these are what are called Maniacs boxes. So these are from Film Arena in the Czech Republic. They are some of my favourite editions. They're premium box sets, so they come with custom steelbooks, custom sleeves as well, lenticular editions, often a little gift as well. So they are absolutely amazing. You do get a lot in them, packed in those boxes. Speaking of, along the top here, these Prometheus and Alien Covenant editions actually came inside those Maniacs boxes as well. These embossed slips are very cool. So they actually were inside that Maniacs Prometheus box and Covenant as well, just next to it. So the plan for Film Arena is to release Alien and Aliens, Alien 3 and Resurrection as well in those same style boxes. So when they finally drop and all 6 are together, they will look incredible. So we've got quite a few other editions down here, quite a few House editions. Great TV show there, Hugh Laurie. This Psycho box set that's just arrived from Germany. It's only a couple of weeks old, so haven't quite opened it up to watch the movies yet, but I'm looking forward to giving that a marathon. And then we've got the Saw Final Trap edition. That's very cool there, that one from Germany. Along the top we've got the Rock edition from Blue Fans, a couple of Forrest Gump editions, Stranger Things from Target in the old VHS retro style packaging there on Blu-ray and 4K. Hopefully they continue that range on when season 3 comes out. So basically you may notice there's no real sort of structure or system in place, but I do try and keep the same movie on different formats down the same section. So down here we've got the commemorative edition of Braveheart on VHS, and then a little bit further up we've got a couple of editions there, special edition and standard on DVD, and then a couple of Blu-ray editions there, and then further up we've got the new 4K premium editions of it. So yeah, having that sort of structure does make it a little bit easier to find things, although I am pretty good at knowing where a lot of the items are. There's only been a couple of instances where I've been searching for something, couldn't find it, so my memory's usually pretty good. I know where a lot of the stuff is. I'm not quite brave enough to try and sort it all out in alphabetical order, but one day, you never know, I might give it a go. So what I like to do is new releases, face them outwards, a little bit like a shop in that respect, to show off sort of the new releases. So there's Bohemian Rhapsody. Just today we got Robin Hood. Went out and got that this morning, and also there's Overlord as well, that came out today here in Australia. That's been positioned on the next aisle. I also like to keep any editions that look cool. A lot of the lenticular editions that I do like, I sort of keep them facing outwards just to show off how cool the artwork is on them. And then along the top here I've got a lot of James Bond steelbooks. Yeah. So back down to aisle 3, and along the top, one of the finest pieces in the collection, the complete Matrix collection in Morpheus ship, the Nebuchadnezzar. This is a Japanese release, quite old now, but it is very rare, and I know a lot of collectors that would love to get their hands on that one. So I've got that positioned at the end of the aisle with quite a few other sort of cool Matrix editions. The attaché case there, I think that was a Samsung exclusive, maybe a promotional box, come with a pair of Neo sunglasses, so that's awesome. The model, this Ultra HD Club edition that came in a leather box, which is really nicely put together, so that's there. And then further down, my system's in place where I've got the Matrix VHS. And then on the opposite side, I've got these Terminator editions, which sort of match where I keep the T-800 skull and the Terminator bike from Salvation, and then this this amazing Endo-Arm edition of Terminator 2. So this originally was announced, and then it was cancelled, and then it was announced again, and orders had to be replaced. So there was about a year between it was first shown off to when it actually released. So it was a bit of a muck up, but when it did eventually come out, it was worth the wait. I think it's absolutely stunning. So I keep that there with the T-600 skull. This Terminator 3 edition, which comes from France, that's got a microchip inside. That's a bit like the brain chip from the Terminator, so that's cool. And then down here we've got Scarface. Now this edition I was chasing for many years. Comes with a fully working humidor, so if you do like your cigars, then you can keep them in there and it keeps them fresh. So that is a very awesome edition. And then we've got War of the Worlds from Japan, the emergency box edition, and a German release of Braveheart down there, so that's cool. So if we go down aisle 3, again just past the Terminator editions, we've got some Evil Dead boxes. I've got 24, one of my favourite TV shows. Jack Bauer is an absolute legend. Independence Day. Got Jurassic Park Steelbooks and different various box sets. And then on the opposite side, one of my favourite Tim Burton movies, Edward Scissorhands. Again, you can see I like my lenticular boxes. They're nice to have on display, just as you're walking around as they're moving. They look awesome. And then a few TV shows, Big Bang Theory. And then if we move further up along the top, we've got these German released faux leather bound sort of book editions that have wooden drawers inside them. So at the moment it's the Italian Giallo range. We've got Dario Argento's Suspiria there, which is one of the most popular. So they're really well made, and they look fantastic together. So that's those there. And then along the top on the beam, we've got another Guillermo masterpiece, Pan's Labyrinth. Some absolutely beautiful editions there. And they arrived inside this one-click box set from Kimchi DVD. And I've got that positioned next to another pretty awesome limited German edition of Pan's there, so that's cool. So back onto the beam, next to that is one of my favourite movies of recent years, The Greatest Showman. I'm a big fan of musicals anyway, but when I watched that, the music, just the stage presence, the choreography, the dancing, everything about it just blew me away. So I am a huge fan of The Greatest Showman. And then when those editions were announced, they arrived in this one-click box from Manta Lab. And they tried something a bit different with that release. They had this internal box which folded out with this sort of 3D pop-up scene from the movie. So had to get that on display there because it's so cool. And there's another lenticular edition of it there. We've got Wanted, Cabin in the Woods 4K Steelbook. And then we've got a few Mad Men editions down this side. And if we just come further up here next to the Inception briefcase, there's Overlord. We've got Watchmen. So I've got a few editions of that. We've got a couple of head cases for Rorschach and Dr. Manhattan. We've got the Night Owl ship. And above that we've got this big lenticular box set which came with the graphic novel. So that one is really nice. Big fan of the Watchmen. Looking forward to the HBO show when that finally drops. Also big fans of the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street series. So this box set here along the top, this came with all of the media books housed inside it. Again from Germany, such an awesome release there. And then just below that we've got a signed edition of the Mask version, and this tin edition of the complete set on Blu-ray. So there's a lot of collectors out there that are hunting for this one at the moment. I think it's going for a lot of money on eBay. Everyone who sort of missed out on it first time, there tends to be quite a lot of people sort of looking for that one, so that's cool. And then Event Horizon, love that movie. Doubt we'll ever get a director's cut, but we can live and hope. And then further along on the opposite side, a few Blade editions, we have got a bit of a Tarantino thing going on. So got Pulp Fictions, Kill Bills, Nova Media releases, premium box sets for Tarantino movies, a couple from Japan. So yeah, a few Tarantino ones there, and all of the premium Steelbook editions that were inside those boxes I have positioned along this side of the beam up here. So we've got their Inglourious Bastards, the latest release, and then Pulp Fiction, and then further down into the next aisle there's Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bills. So I've got those there. So if we spin back around, the strain, Nolan 4K collection. Here we've got Everything Blues, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. So almost a complete Cornetto trilogy, and they're about to drop the World's End, which should release very shortly in a green box. So when that finally comes out, showing off the colours of the Cornettos, the trilogy, and they'll look fantastic together. So really, really detailed on sort of the blood splatter on the Shaun of the Dead box, and the bullet hole sort of in Hot Fuzz. Really, really well produced. So I'm a big fan of their releases. And then along the bottom here, we've got my Disney collection. Keep that at the end of the aisle. So there's quite a few different editions in here. We've got sort of Pixar range at the end. We've got Disney Steelbooks, DVDs, videos along the bottom down there. And along the top is one of my favourite editions, Nightmare Before Christmas. But then I am a little biased, to be honest. I absolutely love that movie. So that is one of my favourite editions there. It did come with a Santa beard, so at Christmas time I do take it out and dress it up, give the room a little bit of decoration. And then along the top, above the Disneys, is these Studio Ghibli box sets. So these released here in Australia. It's very rare we'll actually get such awesome big sort of anniversary or limited editions like these. So when they released, I'm a big fan of the animation anyway, the sort of classic 2D hand-drawn animation. So when they released, it was just amazing. So hopefully they'll continue on and release all the other in the Studio Ghibli range. So if we head back down just behind us, we've got some other editions here in the end of the glass cabinets. We've got another Maniacs box there from Film Arena. So for the Fast and the Furious series, and Tron editions down there. And then on this side here, on the third aisle at the back, we've got the From Dusk Till Dawn box set from Italy. Now this I had been chasing for a long time, and pretty much all but given hope to find one. And then managed to track one down that was actually still sealed. Only 700 in the world, so very rare. And when it finally arrived, I felt very guilty for tearing off that plastic, but I did want to show it off in all of its glory. So the guilt soon sort of wavered when I saw how cool it was. So that's now on display at the top. And we've got some Indiana Jones box sets here. This awesome briefcase edition, I think, was exclusive for Blockbusters, but it didn't actually come with the movies. It was just a resin box that they released for you to put your own DVDs in, which I did. So that one there is on display. Speed Racer, again, huge Nightmare on Elm Street box set there, which is pretty cool. And then at the bottom we've got Dirty Dancing. Nobody puts Baby at the bottom. I did. So that that's that section there. If we walk back down aisle 3, at the end here, I've actually got the only double glass cabinet for all of my Harry Potter editions that I've collected. There's been so many awesome editions over the years for that. We've got a trunk there, that's actually a HD DVD box of it there. And then we've got this Elder Wand edition, that was from France, where the discs are in the drawer. And then at the very top we've got a German release of the Hogwarts Castle. Again, the discs are in the drawer, and that the detail is just incredible. So that's one of the biggest and best pieces in this collection. So that's on display proudly in this double glass cabinet. And again, one of the releases that came out today here in Australia was Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. So I've got picked up the Lenticular digibook of that one, which is just there. And then on this side here, starting off into aisle 4, is the Blade Runner Deckard's Blaster. That one is the German edition, although it did get released in other countries like Japan. Another cool Nameless Media bust for the Wishmaster. The discs again sit in the base at the back, so that's a very cool addition for a lesser known sort of Wes Craven movie. Nicolas Cage's Mandy down here at the bottom. Not everybody's cup of tea, but yeah, it's a very psychedelic movie, and yeah, I really did enjoy it. So I've got a couple of cool editions there, a VHS box from HMV and a German edition which came with the LPs. And Jurassic Park there at the bottom. So if we just squeeze down this section before going down aisle 4, I'll show you next to the Harry Potter glass unit, I have made this Steelbook wall display. So using strong flat magnets, I've positioned all of my sort of favourite artwork steelbooks along there, all the ones that I like the look of, the colours and the artwork, the original Turtles movie and Psycho. So if I just squeeze down here to aisle 5, you get a better look at how it comes across. So basically, if I just remove one, you can see the magnet underneath is just stuck to the wall with very strong sort of double-sided tape. It's designed for outdoor sort of garden use. It's a smooth magnet, very soft, so it doesn't scratch the steelbooks. And then yeah, when a new steelbook comes out that I like the artwork of, I can take one down, put the new one up, and it creates like an art display, which I'm very happy with. So that's awesome. So back round to aisle 4, next to the Blade Runner edition, we've got these other sets for Blade Runner. We've got the briefcase, we've got the whiskey glass. A little bit further down we've got a Hammer Horror collection, and then up at the top we've got another Maniacs box from Film Arena. This was absolutely beautiful, and it came with those 3 editions there along the top there, next to HD Zeta's original Blade Runner release in a premium steelbook. And then we've got these Ready Player One editions from HD Zeta and Manta Lab. Colours are fantastic. As soon as the light hits them, it really does show them off, so they're very cool. And they actually arrived in these big box sets along here, which is awesome. Next to them we've got Breaking Bad, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Ghost in the Shell complete collection. Quite a few Planet of the Apes editions down here, simply because Planet of the Apes VHS, because I keep the Caesar Warrior's Head collection there in that cabinet. We've got the original DVD release of it there as well. And then along the top there's the Shout Factory's 20th anniversary of the Power Rangers series, which is in the Red Ranger helmet. That's an absolute monster, it's huge. And then down aisle 4 we've got a rare gap for some new releases, so that'll get filled hopefully shortly. And we've got the Lost complete collection there, the Villainess in a German media book, a few Close Encounters editions. Really does make me feel old when I can still remember buying the limited edition of Close Encounters on VHS and then I can actually still remember getting the Blu-ray edition and now the 4K edition as well. So yeah, we've also got the Simpsons down here. We've got a complete set of all of the head editions moving along. They're all down there. We've got a cool Top Gun jacket. There was actually 2 released, one with the collar and one without, so that's awesome. And then on the other side, I've got a few Grindhouse editions, Machete. I've got the awesome Criterion collection of The Princess Bride. And then further up here, one of my favourite releases from Manta Lab is Fight Club. That came in a rubber box, so that was very unusual. You don't often see something like that, so that's very cool. We've got a few Grease jacket editions here for the Pink Lady and the T-Birds and the Rydell High School team. Rick and Morty, screaming out for more episodes of that. Love that show. And then on this side we've got Rambo. Got a few other Rambo editions down here. Again, looking forward to the next release by Stallone. And then along this midsection we've got these old style VHS, these retro VHS Blu-ray boxes. These ones were released from JB Hi-Fi here in Australia. Seem to be quite popular at the moment, releasing movies in sort of retro VHS packaging. HMV in the UK did something very similar. These ones are limited to 1,000 per title. They're all individually numbered, and yeah, lots of cool movies from the 80s and 90s. I actually preferred these ones more than the HMV released versions, simply because these are actually in proper plastic boxes with artwork inserts. So they feel and they look a lot more like the videos I used to collect as a kid. So because of that, sort of, I've got that nostalgic sort of feel towards them, which is cool. Along the top, the one-click box for Ex Machina, which is beautiful. Next to the Graboids, Tremors box set, and then again, Everything Blue, premium company from the UK, produced this Book of the Dead Mummy edition, which is an absolute stunner. It's so well made. It's the material just feels incredible. So that one is one of the favorite pieces in the collection. So yeah, hats off to them. That's really awesome. And then over this side, got some John Wick editions. Looking forward to number 3, Westworld, and then a few other box sets there. We've got Dirty Dancing, which is next to the model edition down in the glass cabinet. So if we walk up to the end of aisle 4 and 5, is this absolute monster, the Resident Evil Axeman edition complete collection. So this model is from Germany, exclusive to a company called Media Mart, and it is an absolute beast. It's so heavy. The discs sit in the back there, in the back of the section, and the detailing, everything about it is just absolutely amazing. And big shout out to a friend in Germany called Joachim, who actually secured this one for me. Media Markt don't actually ship abroad, so he actually went there, he picked this up for me, he boxed it all up and he shipped it off, so that wouldn't have been easy. So a big shout out to him for doing that. Such an awesome guy. Down in the cabinet we've also got the Puppet Master Toulon Chest edition. That's from Full Moon Direct. Not my favourite franchise, but it is an awesome box. Lost, Ghostbusters, and the Spartacus TV series. So along the wall just behind that here, you'll see I've got a range of Resident Evil Steelbooks. A bit of a guilty pleasure of mine, this series. I know it's not everyone's sort of cup of tea, but I do quite enjoy a good crap fest. So yeah, that whole series there I've enjoyed from start to finish. And there's been some awesome Steelbook releases for it. These ones here from Germany in the centre, and then those ones there were from Spain. Those ones from Germany actually came inside this this ammo crate editions up at the top there, so they're on display. So if we just head back down aisle 4, along the top here you'll see I've got all of the Star Trek series steelbooks, movie series, and then they go into the newer movies, and then they sort of lead on to this Star Trek section here. So I'll just spin around. So there's some other Star Trek steelbooks along the top there, along with all of the other sort of editions that I've collected. So again, we'll do a spin. And then I've got on this side Men in Black, and then a lot of Family Guy editions just positioned here just so they go next to the Stewie head collection in the glass cabinet. And a few other box sets, another Nameless Bust, Hostel, Charmed. And then here I've got not a complete set, but I've got a lot of the Cinema Cult editions. So these versions release here in Australia. A little bit like Arrow, but they don't restore the pictures. The restorations aren't that great. The special features aren't as full as Arrow's either. But they do release a lot of cool titles in them, so they're sort of nice to have in the collection as well. A few Hellboy editions, and again more premiums along the top here. These ones from Film Arena. So that Skyscraper's a double lenticular. It's got a lenticular cover front and back. And then further down we got some Schindler's List editions. Cool 6 Feet Under edition that has grass on the top. On this side we've got a few Oldboy editions. Love that movie. And the Vengeance Trilogy. And then on the opposite side of this section is quite a few Transformers editions. So collected quite a few over the years. There's the complete movie series there from JB Hi-Fi, the US release version there, and then along the top, once the Tarantino premium steelbooks end, there's the steelbooks for the Transformers movies. Looking forward to Bumblebee dropping, so add that to the collection. I did enjoy that one, so that's cool. And then we've got Fortress edition from Nameless Media, Colossal, a few Scream editions, one of my favourite movies from the 90s, so yeah, that was cool. And Halloween as well, absolutely brilliant movie, John Carpenter's original. Not a big fan of Rob Zombie's remakes, but yeah, the original, an absolute classic. And we've got cool Maniac edition there with a snow globe and a media book. And then on this opposite side, got a few Ghostbusters editions. Got the Universal Monsters collection. This awesome Resident Evil edition from Japan. That's very cool. The inside of the box, they had to get that on display because that's awesome. And then that leads us round to a Doctor Who section. Friends. And then a few other Nameless Media busts. We've got Dead Snow, Waxwork, and Wes Craven's Shocker. And then on this side I've got a Matrix, so we've got the X-Files collection. So we've got the original VHS that I collected when I was younger, and then the complete DVD collection. And then we've got a few Texas Chainsaw Massacre editions, the awesome Masters of Horror anthology TV show. Season 1 released in this crypt box, and Season 2 in a skull, and then Nameless released them on Blu-ray in this Tombstone edition, which is really nice. So that's on display. And above that, again, another Nameless media bust from Germany. Probably my least favourite of the whole series, The Next Generation, but that's got a cool bust there for it as well. And again, the discs sit in the base at the back, so that's very cool. Yeah, so if we spin back around, if we head back down aisle 2, and then in this side of the room, so that's pretty much that side with all of the aisles. We've been up and down all 5. This side of the room, however, is where I keep a few other sort of series together. On the side of this unit, I've got the 20th Century Fox released Deadpool photobomb sleeves, which was a cool idea. I've never really seen marketing like that before for sort of a movie, so that was a good idea. Got me to double dip on all of those. And then Star Wars has its own section here because it's Star Wars and deserves it. And then in there's a shower room. We've got some more Star Wars Steelbooks, again just held up by the magnets, so they're positioned down that section. And then Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead have their own section just here. So looking forward to season 8 of Game of Thrones. I really do hope that when they release a complete series collection, they release it in a model of the Iron Throne. So fingers crossed for that one. And the Walking Dead limited editions there. So, a little bit upset they didn't release season 8 of The Walking Dead in one of these cool sort of McFarlane Toys editions. They are some of the best TV show box sets released. They did end with season 7 with Winslow the zombie, but yeah, happy to have what there is. It's just a shame they didn't sort of continue it on. And then if we just walk down this section and do a spin, you'll see some more Walking Dead and Game of Thrones editions, the steelbooks for Game of Thrones that came with the magnet sigils, and then also the Walking Dead, these I think Target exclusive lenticular boxes. They're just up that side, which is next to another glass cabinet which has these Evil Dead busts and the Book of the Dead editions as well. And at the top there, the Ash vs Evil Dead Nameless media bust. The media book for it sits in the base at the back, and it's absolutely amazing. One of the newest and heaviest busts in the collection. The likeness of Bruce Campbell is awesome, and the TV show itself was, I thought it was incredible. Really disappointed after season 3 they didn't make 4. It would have led on to something amazing, but fingers crossed somebody pulls it back. We've got The Hobbit from France, a few other Lord of the Rings editions, and then there next to these is limited editions of the Middle-earth movies, which leads to this top section, this one here, the big Middle-earth extended editions, released in these really heavy, really well-produced leather books. One of my favourite pieces in the collection, this whole wooden sort of display cabinet it came with is amazing, and I love the movies too, so that's really awesome. And if we just spin back around on this beam up here, we've got the DC Steelbooks collections along the top, which leads to this whole wall here, which is a bit of a Marvel versus DC thing going on. Big comic book wall, which starts, I guess, with this glass cabinet with a couple of Mantelab editions there for later DC EU movies, the mother box on top, and then a few of the model editions and HD Zeta's lenticular one-click boxes down there as well. And then one of the newest releases for premium steelbooks is the HD Zeta Nolan trilogy, one of the best trilogies ever made. Received these awesome steelbook treatments. So these slip covers, lenticulars, full slips are just absolutely beautiful. So that's there. So I've got them proudly on display, and the way I've got them positioned is, if we just move around the side, you can see the back artwork of them as well, which is just absolutely beautiful. So we just move all them along. Yeah, dream come true when they release these, because the artwork on them is just absolutely incredible. And then along the top here we've got the Lenticular media books, some more premium editions of the DCEU. And then on this side, DC section. Which leads on to Deadpool and X-Men, and then the MCU. So just down there I've actually got a lot of big hardback graphic novel Blu-ray editions, so they're very cool as well. And then basically anybody who's in the same Facebook groups as me, anybody who's seen my pictures on High Def Ninja, they get taken here on this little kitchen bench here, looking out onto the collection. And then this is sort of just in a small kitchen that I've got here, and a few cinema cups on the wall there I've collected. So yeah, they get snapped here and then uploaded. So if we just walk around, because I can see the battery doesn't have too long left. If we just walk around here, I'll show off the Marvel section. So along the top here, I've got the complete Zavvi Steelbook collection along the top there, which ended with Thor Ragnarok. So fingers crossed there's more of them to release. And then a couple of Film Arena Deadpool 2 premium editions. Latest release from Blue fans, which is really cool, for Black Panther. And then big shout out to Mark in the UK for helping me obtain the Avengers Infinity War premiums. And then more premiums along the top there as well. And then spinning back around, there's the Deadpool and X-Men collection, which then leads on to the MCU. Lots of cool additions for that, so may that continue for many years. I'm a big fan of the MCU movies, and all of the releases that come out are just amazing. This version of Venom, which just arrived from the Czech Republic, came with this model down here of Venom versus Riot, so that's proudly on display there. I've got a Spider-Man section just there, and then on the opposite side of the Steelbook wall is this Marvel Steelbook wall I've created. So it's a work in progress. Still need to get some more magnets for it, but that does look very cool. Well guys, coming to the end. So that's a walk around of my movie collection. And inside the room I do have dimmer switches for over the collection and also over the actual TV itself. So if we want to watch a movie, then we can dim the lights all the way down. Here's the couch that I'll sit to watch the movies. Friends and family come over. 75-inch 4K TV there. In the kitchen there was the microwave, we make popcorn. The oven that will make pizzas. I've got a Star Trek Enterprise pizza cutter. And yeah, in the hallway there's a beer fridge. So basically everything you need for a good movie night. So I hope you've enjoyed the tour. If you did spot an edition that you would like to know more about, please feel free to shoot me a message. I'm always happy to talk to other collectors about collections. And yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour, and hopefully see you again. Okay, cheers.